So that was very wicked for this doctor to be going around saying that I gave my baby a virus, and for this woman, this nurse who was the one who so-called come up with this reasoning of trying to say that I had a virus for my baby coming out like that. That was wicked because I didn't have anything. I listened to a lot of Dr. Sebi, as far as natural holistic things for the body. I did a lot of praying. I did a lot of protecting myself throughout my life. There were people who took advantage of me, and I was afraid of catching anything. Nobody wants to, catch anything or whatever. So when I did get tested, I did a whole lot of praying, and all my results came back negative when I was pregnant with Mel. So, that this was crazy. So, I had the results paper. I didn't see what type of virus she tested me for, because at first I didn't know that she so-called was trying to say I gave my baby HIV, because she said, a stomach virus. So this is what I was thinking that they were talking about, a stomach virus. And he was like, you gave your baby a virus. And I'm like, I don't got no stomach virus. You know what I'm saying? So, because if you got a stomach virus, you're going to be sick. You're going to be throwing up. You're going to know you got some stomach virus. So, I'm telling the lady, I'm like, I don't have no stomach virus. Like, what are you talking about? And so turns out, so she gave me the discharge paper. She said the results were negative and that I didn't give my baby a stomach virus. She was like, well, you might have gave a stomach virus. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, sometimes, talking to me like I'm a 2-year-old baby, like I'm a 2-year-old child. Sometimes, the mommy is, sick, and, sometimes she gives the baby something in the belly because she's sick. And I'm sitting over here listening to this woman like, first of all, I'm not 2 years old. Second of all, I'm not sick. So what the hell is you talking about? But I just let them go on ahead and try to run whatever game they was trying to run. So, the lady gets out, the discharge papers, and I didn't read what test she actually ran on us to so-called claim she could keep my baby. So I just saw that she said it was negative, and I saw our names to be discharged. It was not until Austin was in jail, because Austin went to prison 5 or 6 weeks after my son was born. He was up in there throwing bottles at my son that was full of stuff. He was trying to fall all over on him, trying to flip him out of the chair. Out of his stroller, kicking the car while the baby in the back seat in the car, kicking the car, boom, 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 while the newborn in the car. Like, he was driving us drunk around, almost crashing us. He was just acting crazy, beating me up in front of my baby. So I ended up having to call the police. He was already on a 2-year felony probation for assault, and they removed him from my home, and he went to prison for violating the probation. And he signed for 2 years. So while he was in there, I had started getting my paperwork together because Mel was getting older, and I needed to get all of my paperwork in order for us. And I had ran across those discharge papers, and I looked through them. And it said that the test that she ran on me was an HIV test. That's when it hit me. And it said negative for me and my son. So I was like, so you had the nerve to test me for HIV, then lie about it? That's not a stomach virus. That's a sexually transmitted virus. So why you lie talking about, we want to test you for a stomach virus? No. You should have just said, we want to test you for HIV. I know what the hell HIV is. I ain't no child. You could have just told me that's what it was. Then what make it so bad, the doctor tried to come in there before she got the test results back and tell me that I gave my baby HIV, because that's what she was testing me for, and that's the virus they was talking about, and I did not have it. So why the hell would you come in there and try to say that I gave my baby HIV and I was HIV negative? What kind of creepy crap is they on? Then when I found out how evil these people really are, I don't know what they planning to do to this child, to my child. And then try to lie and say I had gave him HIV when he was born. My baby was not born with no HIV. So my baby better not have no HIV. And I didn't have it. And it seemed like they trying to give it to me. So I told the woman, and I called up there because I didn't appreciate the fact that the doctor said that I had gave my baby virus, which mean, but he didn't say HIV, which would mean that he was trying to say that I gave my son HIV, and the test results had not even came back, and that's illegal. That's defamation. You going around telling the other nurses and people, doctors, that I have HIV and I did not have it. That's a lawsuit. And I told them that I was going to file one because that's wrong. And you shouldn't look at a person and assume that they have HIV. I've had skin problems throughout my life, and I had got some dental issues. But you shouldn't look at certain little ailments that a person have and be like, oh, she must got HIV. But I think it was deeper than that. I think that's some sort of cover up. Because why lie about the test results? Why lie before they even came back? And then try to keep him in the hospital and tell me to leave. And I said, no. I'm not leaving him here with y'all. And so I was looking at the paper and I called the nurse. I called the department. And I said, ma'am, you tested me for HIV. All you had to do was say that you wanted to test me for HIV. You didn't have to lie and say that it was a stomach virus. And then you turned around and said that I gave it to my baby and the test results came back negative. And you spread that rumor about me around the hospital, and I don't appreciate that. Because it ain't like they went. But everybody knew the test results was negative. I got to go home with it. But you still did that. And then you didn't get my permission. All you had to do was call my doctor, and my doctor would have sent you the results saying that I was negative. So for you to just feel the need to just, oh, this black woman must have AIDS. She must have HIV. She must have. That is so evil. Because I didn't. And neither did my son. But I'm going to get past all of that. So this is some of the wicked stuff that they did. But I did take my son home, and I recall my sisters, I was taught nobody came for my baby birthday. They didn't give me a baby shower. They didn't buy him not one goddamn thing. Nothing. Not a toy, not a shit. Not one visit. Barely not even a phone call. And when them white women was in there trying to keep my son, my sister was like, oh, well, it must be a reason why. It ain't no goddamn reason why, because I went home with my baby because God said so. But see, that's how trifling my family is. That's how trifling my sisters is. You're going to sit there and try to keep siding with these people every time they abuse me. And God let me know it was some deep-seated stuff in my family as far as abuse that they do to me too, which is why they always ganging up with other people that abuse me out in the streets. So everybody could get away with abusing me. And so instead of saying that I was successful in my life, everybody in my family could say, oh, she a hoe, she getting ran through, she this and she that, and I'm finna get on that too. Hold on, because I know I ain't supposed to be doing this, y'all. I put some different type of seasoning on it. But anyway, so Austin had asked me, he was like, who did you talk to? Because he was plotting too. Because he was in there trying to act like his foot was hurting and try to make it about him while the woman is having the baby. And this is what wicked men will do. They will try to make it about them when the woman is in labor and giving birth. So everybody was being very abusive towards me while I was giving birth to my child. Joseph was being abusive to me. Cynthia was being abusive to me. Austin was being abusive to me. My father damn near was being abusive to me. The white women in the the unit, they were as well. And then people try to make it seem like they was catering to you while they was slick doing underhanded BS. So Austin asked me, he was like, who did you talk to? Because he knows that I didn't have anybody but him and his family and my family, and they didn't care for me. And my family abused me. They don't give a damn about me. He knows that. So he was like, who is this person you talked to? And I told him, I said it was God. I said, I talked to Jesus. That's who I talked to. And I had my baby. So now they taking me for a joke because Jesus Christ ain't came straight down from heaven and murked them. So they think, oh, okay, well, God ain't here. He don't see. He don't care. We could get away with whatever we want to do to Andrea because Andrea don't have nobody. And we're going to go get other people and pay them off to get them to do stuff to Andrea. And then my family sitting over there helping them do it. And then tried to say that I was a mental patient. And the reason why I'm going to put some emphasis on my family, because ain't no way in hell your daughter back there pregnant, or your sister, or your cousin, or whoever, granddaughter, back there pregnant for 10 months, screaming in the jail, that they end up committing bloody murder for 10 months pregnant. Because I had been to the hospital and everything, and these people are very scientific. They know exactly how to stop your labor and everything. And say that y'all was not involved. Because how many young African American girls wind up dead? And then you see they mamas all getting down with these sororities and these demonic cliques of people, and then they running around, so and all this bullshit, and your daughter just got killed. What the fuck you mean? And you buddy with some white woman after they just killed your daughter. After the whole country just had a demonic satanic ritual for your daughter. Funeral. And then they going in talking about they want their $1 million now. They want their $12 million now. Boyfriends setting up the girlfriends in the house. And then the police coming to the house and killing the girlfriend. And letting the boyfriends go and giving them millions of dollars. Now they setting it up so bad to where people be fighting and hurting each other. Just to make the shit look real. Staging shit that didn't even really happen. And then putting it in the media like that's what happened, and that's not really what happened. So, back to the part about Sterling. He was a man that tried to set me up. He brought me to his house the night that they released me out of the jail. And then he tried to have sex with me. And I said no, and he got mad. And their house, they were making it uncomfortable. It was a mosquito net. So they had mosquitoes eating me up. And then I went and found out that they had a bucket of water in the bathroom. And then they were letting mosquitoes gather to there and leaving the door wide open so that I could not sleep comfortably in the home. And then there wasn't any food for me. And then he was in there trying to have sex with me, and he was popping pills and asking me did I want a pill, and I told him to take pictures of my body, you could see my baby, and I told him to take pictures of my body, and he didn't want to, and I told him to take me to go get some clothes. I had got a little money from my sister, and I told him to take me to get some clothes, and he didn't want to, and I had ended up telling him to drop me off. He took me to get some clothes, and I see why he didn't want me to do that either, because they were trying to have me on the streets in clothes that I did not go to jail in. They gave me somebody else clothes. I went to jail in a nice bodycon dress, and they were saying that they didn't have it, and they gave me some crackhead looking clothes. My hair was all on top of my head, and they wanted this man in the house abusing me, and then to try to say that I was a mental patient and bring me right back, but I ended up leaving him. And I tried to go to the Salvation Army, but it was closed. And when I walked past there, I had him take me to get some food stamps when I was with him. So I had food stamps to eat. And I didn't know just how much they would have been plotting on my food when I got out. I didn't know that they had set it up to plot on my food. In my food intake to keep me from having food. So I went into the convenience store over there by the Salvation Army in Conroe. And I had started getting snacks, and I went and sat at the laundromat right there. And when I sat at the laundromat, a man named Keevy came up to me, and he was saying him and Reverend Stewart was washing clothes at the laundromat, and that he will let me come to his little trailer or whatever. When I came to the trailer, it was another unlivable. They kept bringing me to unlivable places, so it was unlivable. And there were cockroaches, big old cockroach. There was holes in it. The bathroom had boo-boo and feces all over it. And then he was trying to get me to have sex with him. And I found out that they were his cousin Cat and his auntie Cookie had a house, and I went to their house, and it was livable. And Cat was letting me spend the night on the couch, and her mama came and told me I had to get the hell out and go back over there in that nasty ass trailer with Kiwi. And I was showing them my stomach, that I was pregnant, and they was saying, "Oh no, that got to be a stone pregnancy," but I knew it wasn't because the baby was moving. And I was letting Kiwi feel that it was moving, and he felt it. And he was saying, "Oh, I want to be that baby daddy. I want to take care of that baby," and all of this whole kind of stuff. So I had went shopping, and I had bought some food. But Kiwi auntie had told me I could come stay at her trailer. This was another unlivable place. So when I went into the back, it was a back house added onto the trailer. And there was a big old space underneath the door where centipedes was crawling. And there was centipedes all over the place. It was unlivable, but I had started killing the centipedes. And then she asked me if she could get some of my food. And they was going shopping to get food off of my food stamps in order for me to live there. So I didn't realize that people were trying to take my food, trying to keep me from having food. And then her pug was her their brother who was staying over there. So all of them was staying on this their grandma property, and there was like 5 different trailers, and they was all in different trailers, and the only house that was right there was Cookie's house. And she was in there with Kat and her kids. And her boyfriend was coming over there. And she had a little new car and everything. So my thing, and Kat was running off with some dude and everything. And I couldn't stay over there no more. And Kat was like, "Come on, let's go get your son. They can't keep your son from you." And I was like, "No, because if I go over there and get my baby, they're going to try to lock me up. And they already tried to murder me in there. So what the fuck? What do I look like going over there and letting them lock me up? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I go over there, I already know I have to be willing to die. You know what I'm saying? For my son. Ain't no you taking me back into no jail where y'all tried to murder me. You know? And I wasn't finna be set up to be brought back. So Pug was telling me, "Oh, you can't bring them groceries up in his auntie house," and his auntie was telling me I could stay there. So I'm like, "Why can't I bring no groceries up in there?" Now figured out she didn't have no stove. Only thing she had was a refrigerator and a microwave. So I ended up having to take back stuff, and I'm seeing the plot about how they were trying to keep me from cooking and keeping me from having food. So I did bring back some of the food, and then she came and told me that I had to leave the house. And Kiwi and his cousin was all trying to start stuff like to fight and come knocking and beating on my door. And Kat was trying to start a fight with me. And that's where I permed my hair, because when you got natural hair, you got to have somewhere where you can groom it and stuff. And if you got me on the streets, let me just go ahead and perm it and relax it. So, I don't be out here looking crazy because they trying to pay me out to be a mental patient. And my hair is all on top of my head. And I had a lot of hair. So and it was very thick, and that's all you could do was just pull it up in one big old ponytail, and it'd be all wild. And then they was taking pictures of me in the jail with my natural hair, and then trying to show them to people like, "See, look, she's crazy," just because I had natural hair all over the place, and because I was skinny, because they was poisoning me. And so the lady, hold on. So when I left their house, Reverend Stewart was telling me that he had somewhere that Angelica, this is where Angelica and Kelvin came in again. He was like, Angelica and Kelvin said you can come stay at their house or whatever. And then so I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But then when he got with me,